Hi, this is Mike Bigrig. I'm going to give you an overview of my behaviorism concept map from the backseat of my car. I separated this concept map into two categories. The first being classical conditioning, and the second being operant conditioning. Classical conditioning dealing with subconscious or automatic reflexive responses to stimulus, and operant conditioning, which deals with voluntary or conscious responses to stimulus. Ivan Pavlov, sort of being the progenitor of the classical conditioning theories, is up here at the top. And I just kind of laid out some of the definitions in classical conditioning over here. The first being automatic or reflexive responses, which is just a naturally occurring response to a stimulus. I think the classic example is just a light in your eye, and your pupils will expand or dilate. And obviously, Pavlov's dogs, where he introduced stimulus, which is meat to them, and they salivated. That was their automatic reflexive response. But these are below the level of consciousness. These are not something that we can consciously control, or animals can consciously control. Down below that, unconditional stimulus. That, like I said, that's anything that elicits that, a light in your eyeball or meat that would induce salivating. And then the unconscious response is the salivating or your eyeball moving up or dilating and retracting. Um, a conditional stimulus is basically what you get when you combine an unconditional and a neutral stimulus. A neutral stimulus just being anything that doesn't elicit a automatic or reflexive response. And this is kind of in Pavlov's example or in Pavlov's experiment when you combine the meat with the ringing of a bell. That neutral stimulus, which the ringing bell was the neutral stimulus, and the unconditional stimulus of the meat created this conditional stimulus, wherein the dogs would salivate without the presence of the meat, even because the bell became a conditional stimulus. And the conditional response is just that response to the conditional stimulus, the bell and the meat together. On the other side, the more conscious level of um, conditioning, operant conditioning, that's what we're calling it. Edward Thorndike is sort of the early progenitor of these theories, but B.F. Skinner is the one that sort of made him famous with Skinner boxes, which are essentially animal cages designed to control operant conditioning. I'm sorry, designed to control operant conditioning experiments on animals. And obviously over here, these are all the sort of inputs to this experiment, these experiments, positive and negative punishments, and positive and negative reinforcements. Positive and negative just being whether you're giving something positive or taking it away. Negative and punishment is something that's designed to deter behavior, whereas reinforcement is something designed to elicit behavior. The other sort of parts of this, aversive and appetitive. Aversive or unwanted stimulus, maybe an electric shock, and appetitive or wanted stimuluses. That could be food, is probably the most common example. And then the four different kind of schedules that you can, and intervals you can provide that stimulus. Fixed interval schedule is just a stimulus provided at specific time intervals. Variable interval schedules is stimulus provided at random time intervals. And then a fixed ratio schedule is stimulus provided dependent on a specific behavior at specific intervals that don't have to do with time. So it could be if a bird is in that box and pecks a button 5 times, every 5th time that bird gets the wanted stimulus. Maybe that's food. And then variable ratio schedule is the same thing, except for it's a random occurrence that the bird pecking at the button would get any food, maybe once out of every, I don't know, just randomly occurring. So maybe the first time it's the bird presses the button twice and gets food, and the next time it takes 10 times, the third time it takes 4. Just a randomized variable. I hope this was helpful, and hope you guys enjoy the rest of your day. Thanks. Bye.